changing after the pandemic? Our next guest draws upon industry research and over 20 years of workplace design to predict 5 trends for 22 that may change the way we work. That's including embracing the metaverse and a centralised traditional workplace being phased out. We're joined by Angela Ferguson from Futurespace Collective to tell us more. Angela, great to have you on. Look, I guess my first question is, are people getting back to the office now? Have we kind of flipped that 180 from all working from home?
Look, we're just starting to get back to the office, really. The last 2 years have been a time of experimentation and trial and error. We were forced to all work from home. So really, from here on, here is where we're starting to reoccupy the office again. So this is the beginning of the journey.
So in terms of, but I guess what's interesting is who's driving the journey. It felt like in the old days, the employer said, you will be here on this day to go to this meeting. Do you think maybe the situation's flipped these days?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the biggest question that executives are asking us is, how do we create this new experience of work for our people? Because they know that people have had this opportunity over the last couple of years to work from home, to figure out what works for them. And so it's really become this employee-led experience. So a lot of our clients are saying to us, okay, we've recognised that. How do we engage their hearts and minds and create what they want from the workplace going forward? So look, there is a recognition that there's still a role for the workplace, that centralised workplace, but it's very, very different to the way it was in 2019.
We've heard a lot about the Great Resignation. Is this part of it, that, you know, employees just want to find the right way to live?
Yeah, I think so. It's and I think in Australia we're seeing more of a great renegotiation. So the workplace, you know, prior to the pandemic, the workplace, it was often design-led, and now it's a much more holistic approach. So some of the things that we're doing for clients is talking to them about, you know, what does culturally their workplace need to look like now? What sort of new policies do we need to have in place? What are people's concerns around health and well-being, for example? And, you know, how does our technology support this seamless hybrid working? So hybrid working is a term that I'm sure many of you have heard of, and that means so many different things for many different people. So once we start to look at that really, that picture holistically, we can then start to talk about, well, okay, so how does the physical environment then start to support some of those aspirations?
Does this make it more challenging to be a manager, Angela? Because you're assuming your employees are working. I mean, short of green dot versus red dot versus, you know, whatever on your screen. How is the new employer managing people without being a big brother?
Yeah, look, there's a much higher level of trust, and a lot of the businesses that we're talking to, the things that you know, the sentiment really is that, well, look, our people have demonstrated over the last couple of years that they're very autonomous. You know, they're very responsible, they're very accountable, you know, they haven't dropped the ball at all. In a lot of cases, people have been more productive, and we know that the things that people are really missing from work are those social connections. So, you know, the most progressive employers are recognising that we need to build those social connections into people's work cultures so that you get a lot more engagement, and work becomes this thing that's actually, you know, quite enriching now.
Angela, what other trends should we be looking out for 22?
Well, look, I think one of the biggest trends, and one of my favourite ones, is that there is a lot more fun at work. So, you know, people want to be in the office to connect. Those social connections, you know, as I mentioned, are the things that we're missing. So businesses are really, really trying hard to provide a lot of those opportunities to occur. We're also starting to see that wellness and neurodiversity are being incorporated into the day-to-day of people's activities. So it could be things like, you know, walking meetings, which happened, you know, prior to the pandemic, but these are now almost, you know, they were nice to have before, but now they've become essential. So, you know, leadership and culture are really driving a lot of those initiatives. We're also seeing that workplaces are much more fluid. So, you know, the genie's out of the bottle, it's proven, we can all work from home. But, you know, work from home is not the be all and end all. We still need that centralised workplace. It looks very different now. And there's a recognition that it makes up just one part of the workplace. So public spaces, hospitality spaces, you know, a restaurant is a very valid place to conduct business now, as well as our homes. So these are all an important part of that story of the workplace environment. And so we work with businesses to create a really deliberate strategy around, you know, what sort of, which elements of those are being used.
We'll have to get some progress on you over the coming year to see what is being adopted and what is not. Thank you so much, Angela Ferguson, there, FutureX. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
I have to say that doesn't work for everybody.
No.
I mean, I don't want mine.